If grocery store shelves went bare tomorrow, how long could you truly live off what's already in your pantry? Let's be real. For most people, the answer is not long at all. Maybe a week at best. But imagine instead that you had your own living food system, one that keeps regenerating season after season, even when everything else shuts down. Today, we're exploring 7 powerful survival crops, plants that can literally keep you alive when times get tough. These aren't ordinary vegetables. They're tried and true, resilient, high-yield staples trusted for generations by farmers, pioneers, and off-grid homesteaders. Even better, you don't need a huge farm or fancy equipment to grow them. Just a small garden bed, some basic tools, and the will to prepare. So grab your notebook, tap that like button if you're serious about food independence, and let's get started. 1. Beans, the protein engine of survival. If corn gives you energy, beans give you strength. These unassuming seeds are loaded with protein, fiber, and minerals. Essential nutrients your body needs to stay healthy when animal protein is scarce. When combined with grains like corn or rice, beans provide all 9 essential amino acids, forming a complete protein. This isn't just coincidence. It's why ancient farming systems, from Native American Three Sisters gardens to the Latin American rice and beans tradition, thrived for centuries. It's not folklore, it's survival science. 2 main types: bush beans, compact, fast-growing, ideal for small gardens or quick harvests. Pole beans, climbing types that keep producing all season long, perfect for maximizing vertical space and yield. For survival storage, focus on dry bean varieties such as black turtle, pinto, navy, great northern, or kidney beans. These can be dried, stored for years, and even sprouted later for extra vitamins. How to grow. Beans prefer warm soil and plenty of sunshine. Wait until all danger of frost is gone before planting. Sow seeds 1 inch deep and about 3 inches apart in fertile, well-drained soil. Provide trellises or poles early if you're growing climbing types. They'll start reaching fast. Here's the hidden advantage. Beans improve the soil as they grow. Thanks to nitrogen-fixing bacteria on their roots, they enrich your garden naturally, a gift for future crops like corn and squash. Keep the soil evenly moist but never waterlogged. Once pods mature and dry on the plant, stop watering. When you can hear the beans rattle inside the pods, they're ready. Pull up the entire plant and hang it in a dry, breezy space for a week or 2. Then shell the pods and store the beans in sealed jars, vacuum bags, or mylar pouches with oxygen absorbers. Properly dried beans can last a decade or more. Beans are one of the most efficient survival foods on Earth. A handful of seeds can yield several pounds of nutrient-rich, shelf-stable protein. They're lightweight, renewable, and endlessly useful. A must-have for any self-reliant garden. 2. Corn, maize, the calorie giant of the survival garden. If you could only grow one crop to keep your household fed through hard times, corn would be the top choice. It's more than just a vegetable. It's a full-fledged grain, dense in calories, easy to store, and astonishingly adaptable. For centuries, indigenous peoples across North America depended on corn, pairing it with beans and squash, the legendary Three Sisters, for complete nutrition. Corn is true survival fuel. Each ear packs energy in the form of complex carbohydrates and fiber. Once dried, the kernels can be ground into flour or cornmeal that lasts for years. From bread and tortillas to grits and porridge, corn forms the foundation of countless essential foods. When paired with beans, it even creates a complete protein source, an unbeatable survival combination. Best types for storage. For long-term use, skip sweet corn and plant dent or flint varieties instead. Dent corn, such as Reed's Yellow Dent or Hickory King, is excellent for grinding into meal or grits, while flint corn, like the stunning glass gem, is harder and lasts longer in storage. How to grow. Corn needs full sun, rich soil, and steady moisture. Always plant in blocks rather than single rows to ensure good pollination. Sow seeds about 1 inch deep and 10 to 12 inches apart. Feed with compost or aged manure and use mulch to keep the soil moist. When plants reach knee height, side dress with compost or a nitrogen boost. If you plant beans nearby, they'll naturally fix nitrogen in the soil, supporting your corn's growth. Harvest and storage. When husks dry and turn brown and the kernels are hard to the touch, it's time to harvest. Peel back the husks and allow the ears to dry in a warm, ventilated area for several weeks. Once fully dry, shell the kernels and store them in airtight containers in a cool, dark space. Properly dried corn can last up to 5 out of 10 years. You can grind it into meal or treat it with lime water in the traditional nixtamalization process to make hominy and unlock more nutrients. In short, corn isn't just a crop. It's survival energy in its purest form. It nourishes, stores easily, and forms the cornerstone of countless life-saving recipes. In any crisis, a few rows of corn could be the difference between going hungry and staying nourished. 3. Wheat and other grains. Your backyard bread supply. When most people picture a survival garden, they think of vegetables, but in reality, grains are what sustain you over the long haul. While beans deliver protein and potatoes provide bulk and calories, wheat offers the carbohydrates, fiber, and essential minerals that form the backbone of human nutrition. For thousands of years, grain cultivation has marked the line between mere survival and true sustenance. And here's the surprise. You don't need a massive field to grow it. With smart planning and efficient use of space, even a small backyard patch can yield a meaningful harvest. A modest 100 to 200 square feet can produce several pounds of wheat, enough to bake dozens of loaves of bread. The secret lies in selecting the right type for your region and season. The two main types of wheat. Winter wheat, planted in fall, typically October to November. It germinates before frost, then lies dormant through winter. When spring warmth returns, it resumes growth and matures by early summer. Spring wheat, planted once frost danger has passed. It grows rapidly and completes its cycle within a single season, ideal for northern climates or shorter growing periods. Wheat thrives in full sunlight and moderately fertile, well-draining soil. It's not a heavy feeder like corn. A simple addition of compost mixed into the top layer of soil before planting is usually enough. Sow seeds about 1 inch deep, either broadcast evenly over your bed or planted in narrow rows spaced 6 to 8 inches apart. Keep the soil gently moist until germination. During winter, young shoots known as tillers anchor themselves. As spring approaches, they stretch upward and form beautiful golden seed heads that sway in the breeze, the sign of an abundant crop on the way. When those seed heads turn golden brown and the kernels inside feel hard and firm when pressed, it's harvest time. Cut the stalks just above the ground, bundle them, and hang them in a dry, airy place for a week or two. Then comes the rewarding part, threshing and winnowing. Simply beat or rub the dried heads to loosen the kernels, then toss them gently in a light breeze, or in front of a fan, to separate the grain from the chaff. The result, clean, homegrown wheat berries, ready for grinding, cooking, or long-term storage. You can grind wheat into flour with a hand mill for bread, pancakes, or flatbreads. Or cook the whole berries like rice for a nourishing, hearty porridge. Wheat berries can also be sprouted to produce wheatgrass, a nutrient-rich food full of enzymes, chlorophyll, and vitamins, perfect for boosting your health in lean times. Alternative grains to consider for survival gardens. If your local climate is dry or you want to add variety to your staple crops, try these time-tested options. Amaranth, an ancient Aztec superfood that's drought-resistant and high in protein, iron, and calcium. Millet, quick to mature and thrives in poor or sandy soil, ideal for dry, low-fertility regions. Quinoa, cold-tolerant and high in protein, it matures quickly and stores exceptionally well. Buckwheat, not a true grain but just as useful, improves soil fertility while producing edible seeds rich in nutrients. Grains are the true cornerstone of food self-sufficiency. When you grind your first batch of homegrown flour and bake bread from your own wheat, you'll understand why entire civilizations once revolved around golden fields of grain. Growing it isn't just about feeding yourself, it's about reclaiming independence, one seed at a time. 4. Potatoes, the hidden gold. Beneath the soil. If one crop truly embodies survival, it's the potato. Dependable, simple to grow, and astonishingly productive, potatoes are the quiet heroes of any crisis garden. They develop underground, protected from pests, drought, and weather, while packing enormous amounts of nutrition into their starchy tubers. Entire cultures have endured harsh winters and famines on potatoes alone. From the high Andes to Ireland and Eastern Europe, these underground treasures sustained generations. Potatoes are calorie-dense and nutrient-rich, providing carbohydrates, potassium, vitamin C, and fiber. Paired with milk or butter, they form a nearly complete diet. Why potatoes are essential? They produce more calories per square foot than almost any other crop. They store for months without refrigeration, Each tuber can reproduce itself, turning one potato into dozens. How to grow? Use certified seed potatoes, not store-bought ones that might carry disease or be chemically treated. Cut larger seed potatoes into chunks, each with at least one eye. Let them dry for a day or two before planting to seal the cuts and prevent rot. Plant them 3 to 4 inches deep in loose, fertile soil, spaced about a foot apart. Potatoes thrive in cool, moist soil and full sun. As they grow, hill soil or mulch around the stems. This prevents green, toxic tubers and encourages more potato formation. Keep watering consistent, especially during the flowering phase. That's when the tubers bulk up. Uneven moisture can cause cracks or rot, so deep watering is best. Harvest and storage. Once the foliage dies back and yellows, it's time to harvest. Gently dig up the tubers, brush off the soil, and let them cure in a cool, dark, airy space for a week. This toughens their skins and extends storage life. Store in burlap sacks or crates at around 40-50 degrees in darkness. Avoid refrigeration. It changes flavor and texture. Properly stored potatoes last 3 to 6 months, sometimes longer. For best results, grow hardy storage varieties like Kennebec, Yukon Gold, or Russet Burbank. In warmer regions, consider sweet potatoes. They're just as reliable and even richer in nutrients. In any emergency, potatoes are a quiet powerhouse. They multiply, store well, and can feed a family with minimal care. When the world above ground feels uncertain, your food security might just be waiting underground. 5. Carrots and root vegetables. The hidden food reserve beneath the soil. When frost wipes out most above-ground crops, your root vegetables quietly continue their work, safely storing nutrition underground, untouched by cold or decay. They're nature's built-in emergency pantry, ready when you need them most. Root crops like carrots, beets, parsnips, turnips, and rutabagas are all cold-hardy, space-efficient, and loaded with nutrients. They provide carbohydrates, vitamins, and essential minerals, the perfect balance of energy and nutrition during lean months. Unlike fragile leafy greens, these underground crops can withstand deep chills and even freezing soil. Nutritional strength. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, vitamin A, crucial for eye health and immune function, especially valuable in stressful survival conditions. Beets deliver iron, folate, and antioxidants that help maintain energy and blood health. Parsnips and turnips offer complex carbs and vitamin C, providing warmth and vitality during cold months. How to grow. Root vegetables need loose, well-drained, stone-free soil to grow straight. Uniform roots. Mix in compost for fertility, but avoid heavy nitrogen fertilizers. Too much nitrogen leads to excessive leaves and forked or hairy roots. Direct sow seeds in early fall or spring. In mild regions, October planting works beautifully. Sow about 1 ox 4-inch deep and 2 inches apart, then water gently and consistently until seedlings emerge, usually in 10 to 14 days. Once they sprout, thin them to 3 or 4 inches apart to give roots room to expand. Most root crops not only tolerate frost, they improve in flavor after it. As temperatures drop, starches in the roots convert to sugars, making them naturally sweeter. Carrots and parsnips are prime examples. Their sweetness intensifies after a few light freezes. Storage and preservation. Root vegetables are among the best long-term storage crops in existence. Here are a few reliable methods. Root cellar storage. Keep roots packed in damp sand, sawdust, or peat moss in a cool, dark place. In-ground preservation. Leave roots in the soil through winter, covered with a thick layer of mulch or straw, and harvest as needed. Fermentation or pickling extends shelf life and adds probiotic health benefits. If your soil doesn't freeze solid, you can simply lift the mulch and pull up fresh roots whenever you need them. Crisp, sweet, and full of life. For any serious survival gardener, root vegetables are like buried treasure. Hidden below the surface, they quietly store calories and nutrients while protecting themselves from pests, cold, and even prying eyes. When times get hard, these humble roots become your secret stash of food security, a dependable living pantry waiting patiently underground. 6. Cabbage, kale, and collards. The cold weather power greens. When frost settles and the rest of your garden fades, the hardy brassicas, cabbage, kale, and collard greens stand tall, vibrant, and strong. These are the ultimate winter survivors. resilient, nutrient-rich, and dependable when nearly every other crop has surrendered to the cold. As temperatures drop, your body needs vitamins and minerals to stay energized and fight off illness. And that's exactly what these greens deliver. Kale is packed with vitamins A, C, and K to support immunity and recovery. Cabbage provides fiber and antioxidants to keep digestion healthy, while collard greens offer a rich source of calcium and essential nutrients. Together, they form a vital defense system for your body during the harshest months. How to grow cold-resistant greens. Cabbage, kale, and collards love the chill. In fact, they taste even better after a light frost. The cold triggers a natural process that turns starches into sugars, giving the leaves a sweeter, more delicate flavor. Plant them in nutrient-rich, well-draining soil mixed with compost, spacing each plant about 12–18 inches apart to allow room for spreading. Keep the soil slightly moist, but avoid overwatering. If starting from seed, sow indoors 6 to 8 weeks before transplanting outdoors, or direct sow in early fall if you live in a cooler region. Once established, these plants are incredibly resilient. Kale, for instance, can survive temperatures as low as 20 grader så som har 6 grader, and continue producing even through snow with minimal protection. Harvesting and using your greens. Harvest the outer leaves first while leaving the center to continue growing. This cut-and-come-again approach keeps the plant producing for months. These versatile greens can be used in countless ways. Enjoy young leaves raw in salads and slaws. Steam or sauté mature leaves for warm, hearty meals. Ferment cabbage into sauerkraut or kimchi, boosting flavor, preservation, and gut health. Dehydrate or freeze kale and collards to store for later. The true winter survivors. Even in severe cold, you can keep these greens thriving under row covers, cold frames, or simple hoop tunnels. Kale especially can be harvested straight from beneath snow, a nearly magical crop when everything else in the garden has stopped producing. Their deep roots draw valuable minerals from the soil that other plants can't reach, giving you essential nutrition when variety is limited. And their endurance ensures that your garden continues to provide fresh, living food all winter long. In a survival garden, these greens aren't just a source of nourishment. They're a symbol of resilience. When everything else freezes and fades, cabbage, kale, and collards remain, steady, strong, and alive, a reminder that even in winter, your soil can still sustain you. 7. Garlic and onions. Flavor, medicine, and long-term preservation. When life gets difficult, survival is about more than simply staying alive. It's about keeping your body strong and healthy. That's where garlic and onions earn their place as true survival staples. They're not just flavorful ingredients that make simple meals taste better. They're also powerful natural medicines trusted for centuries across civilizations. Both of these kitchen essentials belong to the allium family, famous for its pungent flavors and healing qualities. Garlic in particular contains sulfur compounds such as allicin, which have proven antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. In ancient times, soldiers carried garlic to prevent infections and treat wounds. Today, science confirms its benefits for boosting immunity, lowering blood pressure, and supporting heart health. Onions, meanwhile, are rich in quercetin, a strong antioxidant known to reduce inflammation and strengthen the immune system. In any survival situation, garlic and onions become more than crops. They're natural medicines growing right in your garden. How to grow garlic? The garlic is one of the easiest crops to plant, and October is the ideal time to get it in the ground. Start with firm, healthy bulbs. Avoid using grocery store garlic, as it's often chemically treated to prevent sprouting. Break the bulb apart into individual cloves, leaving the papery skins on. Plant each clove with the pointed end facing up, about 2 inches deep and 6 inches apart, in well-drained soil rich in compost. Garlic thrives in full sunlight and prefers evenly moist soil, but be careful not to overwater, as it dislikes soggy conditions. Once planted, cover the area with mulch such as straw, dried leaves, or grass clippings to insulate the soil and protect it through the winter. While it seems quiet above ground, the cloves spend the cold months developing strong roots. When spring warmth returns, green shoots appear and the plant grows vigorously until midsummer. As soon as the leaves begin to yellow and fall over, it's time to harvest. Gently lift the bulbs, brush off excess soil, and let them cure in a dry, airy location for 2 to 3 weeks, until the outer skins are papery. Properly cured garlic stores well for many months, up to a year if kept in a cool, dry, and dark place. For long-term survival gardening, garlic is invaluable. It adds flavor to meals, strengthens your health, and stays usable for an exceptionally long time. How to grow onions? Onions are another foundation crop for self-reliant gardeners. They're easy to grow, keep well through winter, and serve countless uses in the kitchen. You can start them from small bulbs, known as sets, or from seedlings. For fall planting, place onion sets about 1 inch deep and 4 to 6 inches apart in rich, loose, well-drained soil. Onions love full sun and steady watering. Dry soil can cause bulbs to crack or stop developing. They're tolerant of cool weather and even mild frosts, making them perfect for autumn gardens. Keep the soil free of weeds and gently loosen it as the bulbs enlarge to help them grow evenly. When the tops begin to flop over and turn yellow, stop watering and let the bulbs dry in place for several days before harvesting. Then pull them up and cure them in a warm, well-ventilated space for about 2 weeks. Once dry, trim the tops and roots. Stored correctly, such as in mesh bags, crates, or braided bunches, onions can last through the coldest months. Hard storage varieties like Stuttgarter Riesen and Copra are especially dependable for long-term keeping. Why garlic and onions are essential for survival. Garlic and onions do more than make food taste better. They help your body resist illness when it matters most. In times when medical care is limited, their natural antibiotic and anti-inflammatory properties can make a real difference. They also add comfort and richness to even the simplest survival meals, transforming plain beans, grains, or vegetables into flavorful, satisfying dishes. Easy to grow, simple to store, and endlessly useful, these humble bulbs are true essentials for any self-sufficient garden. Extra tips for allium success. Natural pest repellent. Garlic drives away many garden pests. Plant it near roses, fruit trees, or cabbage to protect your crops naturally. Dual harvest. Onion greens can be picked early as scallions for a quick, nutritious boost. Preservation. Made simple, both garlic and onions can be dried, powdered, or dehydrated for easy, space-saving, long-term storage. When food, flavor, and health all matter equally, garlic and onions deliver it all. These small, dependable plants pack enormous power, and in hard times, that makes them worth their weight in gold.